On this episode of Then You Ruined It, Jason moves beyond the expectations of our culture and admits that there's still a part of him that fears the dark. Meanwhile, Steve very supportively calls him a wiener. Welcome to Then You Ruined It, a podcast where two friends who refuse to meet in real life give each other plenty of reasons to stick to that opinion.
So it's the spooky season. It's overall probably my least favorite time of year. It leads into my favorite time. The holidays and Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that. That's my favorite time. Absolutely. But the spooky season is just, it's not for me because I scare too easily. And one major problem I have with it is, especially now that I have so many podcasts I listen to where they watch a movie and then talk about it, all of them at this time of year have to do the scary movies and let's do Halloween inspired stuff, and some of them are goofy movies that I'm fine watching, but some are just like the actual scary movies that I'm just like, man, that's getting to me. I can't. And I reached a breaking point already this year where I had to stop watching stuff. It was actually with Film Sack of all of them, because they usually don't do the really scary stuff, but they've done some this year, and they did The Exorcist, which I've seen before.
Can I interrupt you? Like, I want to do a little world building before we go any further. Like,
okay,
let's set like a bar before you got into all these scary movie podcasts, or sorry, these movie rewatch podcasts where you were watching scary movies. What was the scariest movie that you watched of your own volition? Like, what do you consider a scary movie?
It depends, because, I mean, I've seen some of the classics thanks to a buddy of mine. So I've seen The Shining, which is very disturbing on many levels. I don't know, just various things. I've seen movies that disturb me for different reasons. I mean, the one I would say that you'll probably laugh about, and other people will laugh, and other people will say, oh, yes, spot on, totally believe it. Blair Witch.
Okay, I've actually never seen Blair Witch, so I don't know where to...
I imagine you would be on the opposite side of me, saying that's so obviously fake and crap, especially now that it's not in the moment, like when it came out and everybody was like, oh, is that real or not? Which was not my concern at the time. I can take any horror movie and make it real, and not just real, but really about me.
Okay.
And that's where the crux of this argument, this whatever that I'm going to lay out, arrives, because that's, I don't know if it's a narcissism thing. I don't know if it's, but whatever horror movie I watch, I don't care what it is. It doesn't even have to be The Ring, where The Ring is, that is, you watch it and 7 days later you're going to die. So of course you can apply that one to yourself. So I've seen The Ring. Now I'm going to die in 7 days. Whatever. I would get that one. Any movie I watch, it automatically becomes my life. And this is true as a kid, but it's also true now. And it's like, I know that this basement is safe. I know there's nothing down here with me, but it's dark right now when I'm recording this podcast, and damn it, I don't want to go back upstairs because I have to go by a utility room that's very dark, and every time I walk by it, I feel like something tried to grab me. Okay. No, I mean, yes, you're a huge narcissist. I've been telling you this for years. You need to stop thinking only of yourself. But also keep doing it because we have a podcast that's based on that.
Well, yeah, but like, we think of our listeners and we put out content every week because we're givers. But I get that. That's why we watch any entertainment, is to empathize and to put ourselves in those shoes. Like, if you're not putting yourselves in the shoes of the characters of a show, why are you watching the show?
I mean, yes, and I get that. And you want to empathize with them, but empathizing is different than that person is me and I'm now living their horror. That's a different level that I should be able to, I don't know, I feel like my brain is old enough that I should be able to, somewhere the maturity should have been attained. That's like, okay, this is no longer actually real and happening, you moron. So stop it.
Okay. Well,
just because you watched the movie where people were doing exorcisms and there was a demon that seemed like it was exorcised, but no, it's totally not at the end of the movie, that does not mean that demon has now jumped into your house and it's trying to possess your children or something.
Yes, you're right. It doesn't mean that.
I know. I'm aware it doesn't mean that, but I am Tobias from Arrested Development. I'm yes.
Once again, putting yourself in the character.
There's a lot of those people that fool themselves into believing that. They're just idiots and they're gullible. But it could work for us. That's me. It's like those morons that think that's happening to them just because they watched a scary movie. God, but what if it happened to me?
So these are very specific. It's not just the general, like, oh, I watched a movie with a murderer, I could be murdered. You're like, oh, I watched Halloween. Now, Mike Myers himself is in the room, and he's going to stab me to death.
Basically, yeah. It's I'm now living the horror that was in that movie. Like I said, The Exorcist, I don't want to watch because I've seen it before. So I think it's going to be less scary because of that reason. But I also I don't want to take a chance because I know it was genuinely like creepy, and it's been a while since I've seen it, but I definitely remember the demon is seen like in the movie, like it's not supposed to be that way, but the way they filmed it like the shadow of the demon is seen in like flashes, like they actually like flash it on the screen like certain moments or whatever, and so like subliminally. And I remember after seeing that movie, like feeling like I saw like the shadow of this demon everywhere I looked, and I was just like, why now? Why would that be happening now after having seen that movie than the rest of my life? It's like, oh, now I'm just paying attention.
That brings up another question I had. Like, how long does this last? After you watch a scary movie, how long are you scared? How long are you worried about all the things you did last summer and you're going through a checklist to see if there's anything worth killing you over?
It's funny. Right when you said that, I heard a thump from upstairs and a moth hit my window. I about jumped out of my skin. So it's right when you said, I still know what you did last summer. I was like, oh, that's right. It's the guy with the hook. And then the moth slammed into the window. I was like, Jesus, it's there. That's, let's just say there ain't nothing getting out of this butthole tonight. Tight as an old ship.
That's between you and your sphincter.
It is, as it always is, and as it ever shall be. Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what I do to wash it out later on. You know, usually I'll try and like chase it with something that's totally saccharine and brainless, and it's like, no, I can. This will get rid of that in my mind. Sometimes that does the trick.
So this is why you became a brony. You would follow up everything with an episode of My Little Pony?
No, I've never. That's not true. I've watched some My Little Pony because of my daughter, but no, I was not a brony. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna shame anybody and say like, how dare you call me a brony? But I was not a brony. I don't know what I would watch, but whatever. I've got plenty of stuff, YouTube stuff. Nothing. I don't watch anything scary there because again, why would I put it in the stuff I choose to watch? It's like the things that I don't force myself to.
This is all stuff you choose to watch, dummy.
I know. But I feel like the podcasts are like, I'm not going to say a chore because I enjoy them, but...
This is the life I chose to lead.
Yes, exactly.
When I subscribed to this podcast, I made a commitment to these people I will never meet.
Yeah, and I haven't seen any really, really scary movies outside. Well, that's not true, though. Was one that disturbed me that, again, FilmSack chose, and then they actually said, no, never mind, we're not doing that because it's stupid, and we're not going to give it the time of day. And I watched it, and it messed me up. That was...
What movie was this?
Not fun.
I'm just curious. I'm not going to go watch it. Don't worry about corrupting me or whatever.
Oh, God. I can't remember the name of it. It's Rob Zombie, and it's like...
Like Natural Born Killers or something like that?
No, not that. I wouldn't call that horror. That's more like... No, I've seen that too. It's horror, but it's like campy, fun horror in a lot of ways. No, this was like Satan is real, and he's come back to Earth, and he's going to take over, and this is how he did it. What was it called? It doesn't matter.
The More Human Than Human video?
No, it was not Dragula. I know what you're talking about. I don't find Rob Zombie himself that scary. It was just this movie. So yeah, outside of that, it's mostly the movies that I saw, again, at my friend's behest. It was we met in college, and he was way into horror movies, so he introduced me to a lot of the classics, and I appreciate that. But yeah, The Shining messed me up for a long time, and still kind of does, if I think about it. But I don't know. It was just crystallized again for me when I was the other day like, okay, well, I'm just going to listen to this podcast. I'm not going to watch that movie. And that's for my better, my brain health. And I was like, but is it? Like, am I doing myself a service, or am I doing myself a disservice by not watching it?
What, how would it be a disservice? You just talked about how every time you watch one of these movies, you can't even walk to the bathroom without getting scared. How would this not be a disservice?
Yes, but when do you overcome that fear?
In your case, obviously never. It would have happened by now.
You also know me enough to know that I never put the work in. So.
Isn't that what you're doing? Like, the work here is watching these movies with Scott Johnson.
I think the work would be, okay, go in there and stand at this, in the entryway to this utility room that there's nothing in, and just stand there for 20 seconds and watch that nothing grabs you. And that just thinking of doing that right now myself again, my sphincter went up into my body and is now like below my belly button.
That's no place for a sphincter.
It doesn't feel good.
I cast you out.
Seriously. Oh, you're pushing on some stuff. Oh. So yeah, it's like I think I have mentioned this show before to you, the MTV Fear. It's not anymore, but they would make people.
I remember that show. Oh.
Yeah, they would take people to like haunted places and say like, okay, sacrifice this chicken, which was not a real chicken. It was they got like chicken from the store or whatever, but like sacrifice this chicken and then lay it out in this pentagram and then lay in this coffin for 4 hours. And if you don't, then you're a coward and you lose the money or whatever. It's just like, that's messed up. And that's the equivalent of me going to this doorway and standing there for 20 seconds. It's like, how dare you ask me to do that?
I have a very specific memory of that show because we would watch it. It came out, or at least a season. I don't know if it was the first one or the last, whatever. Doesn't matter. I don't know how long it lasted. It was a weird idea. But it came out my freshman year of college, and we were all sitting around and watching it. And my one friend, who he was like just laughing the whole time, was like, "This is so fake. Why would you even be scared in that situation?" And we all looked at him, was like, "Dude, last night we were watching Aliens, not Alien, the scary one, Aliens, and you were freaking out, and you couldn't make it through Aliens. There's no way you would go and lay in a coffin for 2 hours while people threw dirt on it." No, we were putting in the work. This podcast is you putting in the work. Okay, so now you've admitted that you're a narcissist. Now you are, you're committing before me, all of our listeners, and God to go stand in front of your utility closet and let something not grab you because there's nothing in there. And then the next step, you're going to tell us how this is going to get you a talk boy.
I don't know how that got there. And also, I was shaking my head violently because no, I don't agree to any of that.
Don't let him weasel out of this, listeners. Message him.
I'm going to get one message from one person. I know exactly who that person is. Go stand in front of that door, you coward. I'll be like, hell no. It's my own house. You can't make me. Also, I haven't left the basement in a week. Please come get me.
Come save me and my sphincter.
On the bright side, all the game systems are down here, so I can just play video games the whole time. As long as I'm not afraid to come out of this room, which I think I could probably do.
How are you going to eat? Is your wife going to support you in this cowardness? Is she going to bring you a sandwich?
Not if it lasted like an hour, yeah, I'm sure she'd be like, yeah, whatever. If it got past the point of like, okay, I have a meeting I'm late for and you haven't come out of there, we have to get our kids to school. Get up here, you chode. I think it's as long as that would last. As long as I didn't actually like shirk any actual responsibility. No, I doubt she would care.
In the spirit of delving deeper, when did this start? Was there a particular movie that you saw too early that freaked you out and caused a problem?
No, I've just always had that feeling that like the dark in general is just sinister. And so anything that goes along with that, which includes scary movies in my mind. Like I wouldn't even watch the slashers, which I now watch happily because outside of maybe like the first one in each series, everything is just so hokey. And oh man, I watched Friday the 13th 6, I think it was 6, Jason Lives. And the first like 45 minutes of it is like 80s slapstick with Jason like killing people. It's like the way he kills them is just like, that's great. How'd I miss these movies? So yeah, I don't know where it started specifically. I don't remember watching horror movies because again, I would avoid them. I didn't have to watch them. My parents didn't watch them. So I don't know. My dad scared us to death a couple of times as kids, but I don't think that had anything to do with it.
What did he do to scare you? You hire a one-armed man to bring you milk?
No, specifically, he waited till my mom went out somewhere, so he was the only one watching us, and he went and got his like scary mask and came and attacked me and my brother while we were watching TV. And my brother just bolted across the street to our grandparents' house where they lived at the time, for safety. And I went under a bed, and he immediately came to me and was like, "It's me. It's fine. It's going to be okay. I have to go get your brother."
He's telling on me right now to my parents. I got to go stop this.
My in-laws, yeah.
In-laws, even worse.
Yes. This may be the night where you don't see me anymore for a while.
Tonight is the night we all learn real fear. Your papa is a madman.
Yeah. So I remember that moment. I remember being told about that moment, and I remember living that moment, but it's also one of those, like, I remember living like the movie of that moment. Like, I don't remember it because I was like, gosh, I was probably my son's age right now, five or
really?
6.
Okay. So this was quite a while
We were pretty
ago.
young, yeah. So I remember it, and I remember people telling me about it, but that's definitely not like the formative moment. It's like, just in general, just feeling a sense of foreboding whenever I see a scary movie.
So I used to be terrified very specifically of Freddy Krueger. That was a very distinct fear that I had because I saw not even a Friday the 13th movie. I saw an extended ad on MTV. It was like one of those half-hour specials that was really just one ad for the movie. And I watched that at my friend's house, and I was terrified for years, like well past the point. Like, I could watch other stuff. I'm not a huge horror movie guy. Like, I just don't really enjoy it, but I'm not like you. But anything Nightmare on Elm Street, I just would not get near. I had children, and I was still scared of it. And what cured me of that was when Mortal Kombat 9 added Freddy Krueger as a special character. At first, I was terrified. Like, I don't know if I can keep playing this game because I was big into Mortal Kombat 9 at the time. Like, that was what I would do every night after I did all my work. I'd just sit and play Mortal Kombat 9 online against randos. And I'm like, oh no, there's going to be Freddy Krueger. And I don't know if I can do this. This is a problem. I had to do like some real soul searching the day that he came out. I'm like, am I going to try it? Like, can I face my literal childhood demons and do this? And then I played some guy, and he was a new character, so no one knew how to use him. So I kicked his butt, and I ripped his literal spine out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not scared of Freddy Krueger anymore. I can just rip his heart out like I do Kano's all the time. This is great. Problem solved.
So you're saying that I should take every scary character I see in a movie, talk to Ed Boon and his team at NetherRealm, get them to put it into a video game for me, and wait the however many months of development time it takes to develop a brand new character with moveset and everything. You can use somebody else's moveset. I don't care. If Liu Kang and the demon from The Conjuring use the same moveset, that's not going to hurt my feelings any.
I would love to see the demon from The Conjuring do a bicycle kick. That would be amazing.
Yeah, we're definitely entering scary movie territory then. Just let me eviscerate that character 5 to 10 times, and then I'll be cured.
Yeah. Or go wash some clothes in your utility room at night. Go do a load of laundry.